accident, you need a lawyer, and you deserve an advocate. Because every accident has a ripple effect. It affects your time, your health, your ability to make money, everything. That's where the advocates can help. Thanks to our decades of experience, we know what your case is worth, and we'll fight to get you every penny you deserve. Consultations are simple and always free, because you're not just a client to us, you're a person, and you deserve the best help you can get. You deserve an advocate.
This is the Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find the Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Wow, what a great day to be alive. I mean, holy cow. It's the Monty program. What more could you ask for, right? We're presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. I don't know if it was dog bite weekend on the program, but several incidents with dogs. Yes, the Advocates can help you if you are involved in a dog fight. Yeah, somebody had their dog attacked by another dog. Got to go to the Advocates for that. You get in an accident, got to go to the Advocates for that. You get hurt at work, got to go to the Advocates for that. When you get injured and you are not at fault, go to the Advocates. Get online, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business, where you never pay out of pocket to work with the Advocates. No, friends. You don't pay the Advocates unless and until they win your case. Chat with an attorney live online, 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Good Monday morning to you. Obviously, a lot going on. Jake, who is, this is his show, not mine. How was your bracket?
Bracket's been destroyed. Was destroyed after the first couple of games. So yeah, bracket's not in good shape anymore.
Why is that?
Because I didn't do good picks and we had surprises.
I didn't do good picks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have 67% of my bracket alive. So
good for you, man.
Which is only okay. That's not great.
Yeah.
But is your Final Four intact?
Let me verify.
How do you not know if you're? Do you guys see what I mean?
Because my bracket was so
my man
destroyed,
doesn't even know who his Final Four is.
My bracket was so destroyed that I wasn't really, I wasn't really continuing to, pay attention.
Yeah, my Final Four is alive and well. I have Houston, Duke, UConn. The one that hurt me the most was Auburn. That Auburn loss to Yale was absolutely piss-offing. Like that was not ideal. But hey, San Diego State makes another run to the Sweet 16, which is fantastic for the Mountain West. So they get a seat at the table. But what did I tell you about this Illinois-Iowa State game that is coming up in just a matter of 3 days?
Yes.
On Thursday, Illinois-Iowa State, I think, is going to be one of the games of the tournament. Other than that, my bracket looks good. I mean, absolutely, positively. The Houston win last night was a little, there was a little trepidation.
A little nervy.
Shall we say. They beat Texas A&M, who put up a hell of a fight. And then I don't know what you say about the ACC with Duke. Duke is Duke. I think one of the more interesting questions here is the Big 12 still the best basketball conference in the country? I mean, obviously less than an ideal weekend. But you look at UConn, and boys, I told you to get on the Creighton train. Marquette still alive. I mean, I think you look at what's going on with the Big East, and you can't help but think, hey, this is a very good basketball conference. But where does the Big 12 rank in basketball supremacy? I mean, if you're doing it strictly based on the NCAA tournament, which is what every half brain does, you would say it's the ACC. But I still maintain the Big 12 is the best basketball conference in the country. I think the ACC is second, and I think the Big East is third overall. And I think that hasn't changed from the season to today.
No, and I think the Big 12 is absolutely the most quality top to bottom. I think the problem for the Big 12 is that these other conferences have juggernauts who typically excel in the tournament, so you don't get the credit that you deserve as the tournament goes on, because you've got Duke and, UNC and these other schools who are doing their job. And I think that's sort of the game you have to play as the Big 12. And I think, the conversation to me is not if the Big 12 is one of the best basketball conferences. Very clearly they are. I mean, I just don't think that's really in dispute. I think when you compare them to the ACC, the question is, who is the better total package when you look at realignment and picking up teams and who's going to survive? Because ultimately, it doesn't help you that you had a bad weekend for the Big 12. Obviously, that's not ideal, as you said.
Are you sure?
But I think that the ACC is not doing well in football, and I think that's where when you start to have the bigger picture conversation, that's where I start to have concerns for them.
Well, and I saw a bunch of Big 12 homers talking about how, well, it was a tough league all year and there was attrition and we were tied. Fuck off. You either win in the NCAA tournament or you don't, right? Like, this isn't well, man, what a great season. You don't get tournament units for a great season. You get tournament units for winning tournament games. And Baylor absolutely embarrassed themselves in this tournament, in my opinion. They did not have the showing as Baylor a 3 seed, right? I think Baylor was a 3 seed. And to get beat by Clemson was unforgivable. And I go back to Texas Tech. Yes, first-year program, totally get it. You needed to do better there. If you look at the second round of this tournament, and you have Texas, okay, nobody expected Texas to beat Tennessee, right? Nobody expected that. But what happened to Kansas? Oh, Kansas had their best player out. You're the good or you're not. You're the deep or you're not.
Yeah.
Bill Self with an absolute shit show at Kansas. I mean, if you're a Kansas fan, how are you not disappointed?
Well, and the problem was you had a good first half. It was a tight game going to the half. And then the second half, you just came out and got dominated, which tells me that it is somewhat of a coaching issue, because again, Gonzaga goes into the locker room, comes out and makes a bunch of adjustments. And all of a sudden you're talking about a 20 plus point loss there. Like, I mean, that's not good enough. Kansas is one of those teams for the Big 12 that has to perform in the tournament. And obviously that didn't happen.
Yeah. I think this was you're still in really good shape if you're the Big 12. Obviously you have a lot of eggs in the Iowa State basket. I mean, you really need Iowa State to beat Illinois. And again, I think it's going to be one of the games of the tournament. I think what the performance Shed had for Houston, that jump stop into the layup, that putback dunk he had, the highlights we're all seeing. I mean, Houston's legit. Houston's the real deal. To come back and finish that game off the way they did, and now you run into Duke, I think we're going to find out how good Houston is, because I still think that Duke is undervalued as a 4 seed, but I just don't believe that we're any more able to sit here in basketball specifically and say, well, they beat up on each other all year, and it doesn't matter. Was the ACC a cakewalk? Was the Big East do you think UConn had it easy?
No.
I mean, that to me, that's the definition of a very good team. You have to get through your conference, and the conference and the conference championship is supposed to build you and test your mettle and get you prepared for a very difficult run to the NCAA championship. And I just think the Big 12 has had a disappointing football and basketball season back to back. I don't know how else you spin it.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other way to look at it. I mean, again, like, we talked about all season long that Baylor was brutal on the football field, and it was like, well, they're going to be really good on the basketball court, and they're going to have a deep run here, and they'll kind of counterbalance that, and that didn't happen. And I think that's where I start to say, like, some of these teams in the Big 12 need to get their stuff together, man. Like Texas Tech, you got to get your stuff together. Like, legit, you got to get it going this year right now. Like Houston, at least Houston's got the basketball program working, right? The football program, obviously, you got rid of Dana. There's work to be done there, but nobody really expects you to make noise on the football field. So that's why I say, like, I think when you're Kansas and you're Baylor, you're any of these bigger time programs in the Big 12, like, you need to do better than what we're seeing here on top of what we didn't see on the football field.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it all turns out. I still maintain that when you're as good looking as I am and you're as brilliant as I am, in the fact that you have just lost Auburn, I think that speaks volumes, and that John Calipari is a certain type of special a-hole
because it's garbage
to drive Kentucky into the ground, and that I fell for that
Right.
debauchery.
Right.
But anybody want to pat me on the back for Gonzaga? Anybody?
No, Monty, you don't know what you're talking about, man.
North Carolina. Anybody want to tell me how stupid I am for thinking St. Mary's was something other than nothing?
Mm-hmm.
But hey, you know what? I feel pretty good. My final's still alive. I'm 67%. I'm in the upper 2.5 million percentile.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm 4.5 million ranked. So,
I am actually ranked 8,764,327.
Yeah.
In the ESPN bracket.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't feel better.
Thanks, John. Thanks, dude.
I don't feel better.
No.
So, but hey, you know what? Not everybody can mean, 7 feet tall like Purdue.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, did you guys see their coach go off? Apparently, a lot of people say that Zach Edey is only good because he's tall. And their coach did not appreciate that. Did not appreciate that even a little bit.
Yeah, he can't be good just because, I don't know, he's good at basketball, can he?
No.
No, apparently he cannot. He cannot. Speaking of Duke is Duke. Sources, well-placed sources, I would remind you. Hi, Jake.
Hey.
Well-placed sources told us over the weekend that the Big 12 is being aggressive with ACC basketball membership and has their eyes solely set on Duke to pair with Gonzaga at a minimum to add to the Big 12, and that Brett Yormark and his emissaries have been building relationships behind the scenes. They have been back-channeling, trying to open up lines of communications. Where have we heard this before? I don't know when the Big 12 expanded with the Pac-4 falling off the face of the earth and getting Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah to join the Big 12. And how did we hear and what did we report on this show? That Brett Yormark was using back-channel communications and relationships he already has to open lines of communication to add those 4 schools to the Big 12, and he did. And now we are hearing that is exactly the way he is operating, as he is targeting potential free agency after the ACC melts down. And his sights are set solely on Duke, who clearly would be one of the prize catches in college basketball. Now, the question remains, who else would the Big 12 add? We'll talk about that in a minute. But is Duke a good fit in the Big 12? And I would have to say, absolutely they are. Because Duke, as we all know, has a football program, and that football program has been better, but it's never going to be elite. Whereas the basketball program perennially is a national championship contender, and this year is no different than that. And I think Brett Yormark knows very clearly he's already got arguably the most valuable basketball property in the country when it comes to conference strength of basketball. I think Brett Yormark is very well aware what the Big 12 is worth in basketball, and adding universities like Duke and Gonzaga would be a very pragmatic move. Now, the question is, why has Gonzaga been so hesitant to join the Big 12? And I think it is a very important question to which we don't know the answer to. Why has Gonzaga not accepted the invitation that Brett Yormark has laid out for them? I think it is a very interesting question. Are they waiting for more realignment? And would Duke do enough if Duke were to join the Big 12 to turn the tide and move Gonzaga to accept the standing invitation that they have from Brett Yormark and the Big 12 to become a member? That is ultimately the question. But, Jake, is Duke a good fit in the Big 12?
I don't know how you can say they're a bad fit on any level. I mean, obviously, of course, they're a storied basketball program. Obviously, they'd be the best basketball program in the conference, in my opinion. I know, obviously, you got Houston, and Houston's great, but Duke obviously has a long track record of dominance in basketball. And I think that the play for Brett Yormark right now is understanding that that they have to be, without a doubt, the best basketball conference in the country. And they need to see the fruits of that labor, happen in the tournament. And that's why I think the performance this weekend and kind of the performance in the big picture hasn't exactly lived up to it yet. And I think that Brett uniquely understands, hey, if we're not going to be, elite in football, like if we're going to have one, maybe two teams in the college football playoff, let's say, every year, then we need to make sure that we're getting a big time amount of tournament shares every single season to offset that. And I think that's where he's going with this. He understands, hey, at some point the ACC is going to dissolve. At some point that's going to happen, and we need to start forming those relationships now. We need to start getting ahead of that thing now, because if you don't, you're going to wind up in the same position that the Pac-12 was in, which is you don't have relationships, you're not in a power position to survive, and obviously Brett doesn't want that. And I think the other thing is Brett Yormark has shown that he understands how to do good business. There's a variety of different things now that he's done that proves that. And so it doesn't surprise me to hear that this guy is aggressively working to figure out how to add premier brands like Duke, like Gonzaga. We've been telling you about Gonzaga for a long time. So the idea that he's trying to pair Gonzaga with another school doesn't surprise me in the least bit.
Yeah, I don't know that I would tie it to football, though. I think that is a common refrain that because the Big 12 cannot compete in football. I disagree with that. I think that the Big 12 is uniquely structured in football. I think that you lack a power brand. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think if you are the Big 12, you have to make more money in basketball so that you can facilitate growth in football, because you can never look past football income. It's just not possible. And with the expansion of the college football playoff and what I think most people believe is going to be further expansion, you have to be able to, on a year in and year out basis, solidify the fact that you are a football revenue generator, which right now I don't believe that the Big 12 can say that. And it'll be interesting, as we've talked about ad nauseum on this show, it'll be very interesting to see which brands step up. And again, not to keep picking on Baylor, but it's brands like Baylor. Texas Tech should absolutely be a foundational piece of the success of Big 12 football. However, they have not been, and maybe they won't be. With Mike Gundy on the downside, certainly, of his career and his inability to consistently compete at the highest levels of college football, I don't think there's any question that this league is open for business. And I think that's why Utah will play such a prominent role in success or failure in Big 12 football. But I think when it comes to Big 12 basketball, and you look at the opportunity that is going to be, I think now almost inevitably presented by what's happening in the ACC, I think it's going to be very interesting to see what Brett Yormark and his crew are able to accomplish, because there's no question now. It is not even a debate at this point as to whether or not the Big 12 is already maneuvering behind the scenes to try and add premier basketball brands from the ACC should they become available. Mm-hmm. And I think that's an important caveat. It's not as though Brett Yormark and the Big 12 are working to drive a wedge that would ultimately bring down or make available the Dukes of the world. But I don't think there's any doubt that Brett Yormark, who has been a pragmatic operator in this conference since he took over as commissioner, I don't think there's any doubt that he is ready to rock and roll. And there is no doubt that he is having conversations directly or indirectly with members of the ACC to let them know that they have a landing spot in basketball in the Big 12. And I think that's as much as we are comfortable to say, because I just think this is such a fluid situation.
Well, and I don't think you can overplay your hand if you're Brett. You don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to seem desperate, but again, I can't emphasize this enough. I mean, this is hardly the first time we've heard about Brett doing things like this. I mean, this goes back to this, like you said, this goes back to the Pac-12 situation where we told you Brett Yormark was in contact with Tom Homo to get to Taylor Randall at Utah. It's that type of networking and those type of conversations that allow you to start forming relationships with people that maybe you don't have the opportunity to talk to as much. But I do believe moving forward for the Big 12, you got to have a big brand in that conference. And I love Utah, and Utah's great, and they're awesome. but they're not brand-wise on the same level as Duke in this example, or, whatever big time school you want to look at. And I think that's where, whether it's basketball or football, you need to find a way to add that big nameplate back to your conference. Because it used to be Texas and Oklahoma, and mostly Texas. Oklahoma would be good here and there, but Texas was the one that everybody looked at in the Big 12. And now it's like, well, who are we supposed to look at? Who are we supposed to just gravitate to? Because obviously on paper that's Utah, but I think that one thing we can say about the Big 12 is it's a very unpredictable league on the football field. It's not like the SEC or the Big 10.
You can't count on the Big 12 to compete in football.
Yeah.
You can't. And again, I'm sure that if Oak State, James, and every other Oklahoma State fan that's here usually, you don't have to like it, but you better learn to love it, because Mike Gundy's not a winner.
Well,
Mike Gundy's not a guy that's going to build an elite program year in and year out.
Even if they were elite, though, right? Like, let's say Mike was like just the best guy we've ever seen, and Oklahoma State was Alabama good. It still doesn't matter, because they're not a sexy brand. That's the problem. And I don't think you can get away from that.
I think if they were Alabama good, they would be a sexy brand. And I think if Mike Gundy hadn't embarrassed the entire state of Oklahoma with his ridiculousness about Bedlam, we'd be having a different conversation.
Well, that's true.
But yet he has.
Yeah.
He's just, if you look at this league, Mike Gundy is a problem for the Big 12 because he does not win at the highest level. And you look at Joey McGuire at Texas Tech. You look at Texas Tech basketball. They needed Texas Tech basketball to make a run. That cost the Big 12 money. There's no question about it. And again, I understand that's a young program right now. You're in a transition period in Lubbock on the basketball floor. Totally understand that. Doesn't excuse the fact you had a revenue opportunity there and you lost it.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't excuse the fact that Baylor seems to get a free pass in this league year in and year out for being what amounts to a pretty shitty athletic department.
Yeah.
Like, you're not winning on the football field, and you didn't fire Dave Aranda. And now you flamed out in the NCAA tournament. You're not helping, you're hurting. And you look across this league, Sonny Dykes at TCU was nothing short of a massive disappointment this past football season. Losing in the NCAA tournament for TCU was while not favored, a disappointment. There's no way, and if we continue to try and spin this and polish a turd, nobody's going to tell the truth, right? And the bottom line is the Big 12 has not competed at a high level often enough. And it can't be that TCU's this one-off. It can't be that Kansas football goes back to oblivion, because Bill Self and Kansas basketball are not exactly lighting the world on fire right now. And I think there are a lot of questions about Bill Self's longevity at Kansas, but whether it be health, rules violations, recruiting, the way that college basketball has changed, because again, and this is the Nick Saban, Mike Krzyzewski conundrum, only in reverse with basketball, because what just happened? NIL likely saved college basketball. And how did it save college basketball? It's keeping kids in college longer.
Yes.
Whereas in football, you're trying to get to the league almost no matter what. You're going to the NFL as soon as you can. Now in college basketball, the G League Ignite folded. And why? Because they don't have the availability of talent. Because now the talent can make millions and millions of dollars in NIL. So again, Mike Gundy, you can talk about not embracing the portal and not embracing NIL. You can be as Dabo Swinney as you want. You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. And it's why you see certain teams succeed on a regular. It's why, again, ATN got a DUI this weekend at Georgia. Again, is anybody going to penalize Kirby Smart for that? No, not a chance in the world. Not a chance in the world. That because your 20-year-old running back had a elevated blood alcohol level. Like, are you kidding me? He's 20 years old. He's not even supposed to be drinking. Nobody's going to say two words to Kirby Smart about that.
Nope.
Why is that? Because Kirby Smart does what Mike Gundy and everybody else in the Big 12 does not, and that is win.
Yeah. He's
a dynasty-level head coach.
And you can't afford to burn that bridge. Or not even burn the bridge, but just you can't afford to put that in jeopardy, right? I mean, you're with the landscape in college football now, if you're one of those schools that wins every single year, as a head coach, you're pretty much bulletproof.
It's not good enough. And I just don't understand why this is bandied about. And this Duke thing is a perfect example. If you're a Duke fan, is your expectation that we're just going to make the tournament? If you're a UConn basketball fan, is your expectation you're just going to make the tournament?
Well, I think Duke's an interesting example because I do think that for a minute there after Coach K's retirement, I do think Duke fan was like, yeah, I mean, hopefully, we have no idea what this team's going to look like now that we've moved on from a guy who's been here for however long he was there.
You've been fine.
And now you've been fine. And I would agree this year. Yeah. I mean, again, you look at their path, like they've got, Houston's a good team, but I think we can all agree that Kyle Filipowski's not going to put 3 points up in back-to-back games.
All I'm saying is when you're an elite team and you have this mystique of, hey, we're the best. Well, the best win. And they don't win in October in football. They don't win in December in basketball. Well, they do, but that winning continues into November, December, and January in football, and it continues in March and early April in basketball. It's not good enough anymore in this current ecosystem and climate of college athletics. And I don't know why it's tough to embrace, but man, I'm telling you, it's not good enough anymore just to be, we competed, and that's not good enough anymore. It's because kids don't want to go to your university if you're not going to win, because the NIL money's out there everywhere. So now it's a combination of, am I going to get paid and am I going to play in big games? And if the answer is not yes to both of those, they're not coming. So we can sit here and we can talk about the Big 12. Is this elite product? Is it really, though? Is it really the best team? And if we're truth telling about the Big 12, the best football program in that conference next season will be Utah, who has not had an elite quarterback in a generation. You have not had an elite quarterback. Let that sink in. Alex Smith had how many current young Utah fans ever saw Alex Smith play football with the U on the side of his helmet? I would say almost none. We're talking about a generation who's never seen Utah with an elite quarterback. We're talking about a generation who does not know, I think, in any way, shape, or form, what Texas Tech is capable of, what Baylor football should be. You don't know. The 17 to 21-year-old in this country has no idea what the Big 12 used to be. They have no idea what Texas A&M means. They have no idea what Nebraska means. So we can sit here and we can talk about, well, hey, like Mike Gundy's another good example. Mike Gundy, he wins. Across the board, they win, right? They're competitive. They go to bowl games. Not good enough. It's not good enough anymore. The game is completely changed. So we consider, we could talk about, hey, well, the Big 12. You know what the truth is about the Big 12? The Big 12 wasn't good enough before Brett Yormark showed up, because Brett Yormark's not looking to just chill. He's not willing to rest on the history of the Big 12. No, Brett Yormark wants to cut a new Big 12. Brett Yormark wants to be the preeminent basketball brand in this country. And if that means targeting Duke, that's exactly what he should be doing. Is Duke coming to the Big 12? I would say that's going to be a difficult pull. Is it impossible? It's not, because Brett Yormark is actually going out and making the effort. Is Duke a comfortable fit in the Big 12? It's not. It's not. Tobacco Road running in the Buc-ee's is not exactly a comfortable marriage. It's not a marriage made in Naismith heaven, right? So we can sit here and we can talk about, the history and the tradition of the Big 12. Nobody cares. You know why? Because the fans that are going to pay the most money, they don't remember that. The fans that are going to be the future foundation of this league don't remember Nebraska is a Big 12 member. They simply do not. And now it's all about individual performances. And now it's all about NIL. And now it's all about the transfer portal. And if you don't embrace that, and if you want to keep, and I see this in our comment section every single day on YouTube, well, the Big 12 hit, and nobody cares about the history of the Big 12. That's just the reality of it. Do you think the 30-something in this country that is watching football on television and buying jerseys and hats and foam fingers, do you really think that they care about the history and the tradition? Do you think they have ever heard of Barry Switzer? Do you think they know who Tom Osborne or Tommy Frazier are? Do you think they know who R.C. Slocum is? Do you think they know about Thurman Thomas and Barry Sanders? Because I'm here to tell you they don't. They don't care. They don't know, and they don't want to know. They want to know what now. They want to know why. And again, I'll just keep picking on Mike Gundy, I guess. Why don't you care about the Oklahoma game? Why don't you care? Because I think Oklahoma State fans care about the Oklahoma game. They care about Bedlam. And Mike Gundy apparently does not, until he's sobbing like a little bitch after the game that he finally won, which is, oh, that's right. That's when he decided to care.
I'm a man.
When they finally won Bedlam, and it finally meant something because you finally won a game against Oklahoma. Oh, now it matters. That's why I said Oklahoma won't move on until Mike Gundy moves on. Oklahoma will not become what it should be until Mike Gundy moves on. The Big 12 will fail to live up to it in football until Texas Tech and Oklahoma State win, and I mean win big in college football. Going to the playoff and win a playoff game. And now I think the minimum standard, if you're not one of the 12 best teams in the country, you're not. Are you really all that successful if you're not one of the 12 best teams in the country?
No, I completely agree with that, Con. And we had this heated debate with you guys about this. You got to be top 12. You have to be, because if you're not making money. Yeah, cool. Your fans will come in and you'll get your, whatever it is, 4 or 5 regular season games at home. Okay, that's cool. But you're not making over the top TV money at that point. You're just kind of covering costs.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting time. And I also think that is there what I wouldn't categorize it as good, but of Duke joining the Big 12. But notice that I think everybody's well aware, North Carolina, if they escape, where are they going?
Yeah.
Going to the Big 10.
Yep.
If North Carolina escapes and they go anywhere but the Big 10, I would be really surprised by that.
And I think that, the loss of UNC Duke inside tournament play every year would be unfortunate, but it's just the reality of it. And I think your point, like the same way that's a reality is the same way that nobody cares about the history or tradition of, in my opinion, really any conference. I don't care that Nebraska used to be good or that, Stanford used to win. I personally don't care. It doesn't matter because your history's not paying today's bills. Like, it just doesn't matter. Like, you have to win now. So it's cool. Like again, it's cool if you're that school that's like, yeah, we used to win, and the Big 12 as a conference used to be really, really good and top of the mountain. Well, now you got to reclimb the mountain, and I think that's what Brett's trying to do here.
I think it's really sad that we don't care about history in this country, and I think millennials specifically, I think, just wrote off and erased history because they're too fucking lazy to go back and research it, and they're too lazy to understand what happened to get college athletics to where it is. I think that's the painful reality of it. But I think when you look at the Big 12, I think if we're talking about, who's a target in the ACC, I mean, I would start with Louisville. I don't think there's any doubt that Louisville is another one of those teams that Brett Yormark is back channeling.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that there are a lot of brands that fit in the Big 12 in the ACC. It's a question of, can you make a sales pitch to Duke? Can you make a sales pitch to Louisville? Because I do think that Louisville will have options. I do think that Duke clearly is going to have options. There's not a conference in this country that wouldn't like to have Duke as a member of its fraternity.
Totally agree.
That's very difficult. But if you look at Florida State, I think Florida State's only home is the SEC. I think North Carolina is going to the Big 10. I don't think there's any doubt. Clemson, I have no idea what Clemson's end goal is, because Clemson doesn't, in my mind, fit anywhere but the SEC. And if you're Florida State and Clemson and you're able to hop, and if you're the SEC, you're not saying no to that. You're absolutely not saying no to that.
Yeah, and I think the timeline around when the ACC situation commences, if you will, is going to be fascinating to watch play out, because again, I don't think that that's going to go anywhere for several years. I mean, unless there's some sort of huge formatic change in college football, let's say. I mean, we've talked about, hey, like, when will the bracket get expanded? Okay. Like, that's something, but that's not change on the level of, hey, we're going to roll out a 3-tier college football system. That's changing the fabric of the game and the path to winning. And so that's why I say, because of the grant of rights situation in the ACC, I just don't know how else these schools leave outside of huge change in the bigger picture.
Yeah, I think it is money and access to championships. But Clemson is very much Oak State.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of them are willing to do what it takes to win.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the Florida State for everything that they're not, including winners. Florida State is that brand that I think every year has the ability to win, which I don't think you can say about most universities anymore. If we're being completely honest, you look at 99% of the Big Ten, they don't have the ability to win.
Right.
But you look at the Big 12, and it's all self-inflicted. I mean, it's bad decisions at Baylor. It's bad practice. It is bad, in my opinion, execution from a business standpoint at Oklahoma State. I think you look at coaching decisions. Like Houston, it's not good enough. And I love Dana Holgerson. I think the world of Dana. It wasn't good enough. They weren't moving in the right direction. They fired Dana Holgerson. But you go over to Waco, and you're like, well, I mean, this is good enough, clearly, because they kept Dave Aranda. So Baylor's telling you it's good enough. Okie State's telling you, hey, it's good enough. We go to a bowl every year. It's fine. It's fine. We've got all money. It's fine.
Yeah, we get to show up in the championship game just to get beat down by Texas once in a while, and now
Texas
that's
Tech,
over with.
It's fine. It's totally fine that we completely dropped a dud in football and then went out early in the NCAA tournament. Look at all these tortillas. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not fine. What if Sonny Dykes has another bad season at TCU?
Now we got to start talking about how much you embrace NIL in the portal. Now I got to start understanding what your tactics are, because you really shouldn't struggle to recruit in the Big 12 as TCU.
How is it possible in this league that we have so many questions in the Big 12 about quarterback? How is that possible? But we have no questions about quarterback in the SEC. We have no questions about quarterback at the top. You lost Will Howard to the Big Ten. K-State lost Will Howard to Ohio State. Is that a good look or a bad look? I'm going to say that's a bad look.
Yeah.
It's not like he transferred to Texas. It's not like oh my God. I mean, how on earth how did he wind up flying past Oklahoma State? I mean, I know Alan Bowman is, good God, the greatest quarterback anybody's seen since Brandon Whedon.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
Stay hard. But Will Howard didn't go to Oklahoma State. I can't believe
I mean, it must have just been an oversight. He must have just not had them in the conversation. I mean, come on.
What?
Come on.
He went to anybody questioning Will Howard saying yes to Ohio State? I'm not. That makes perfect sense.
And by the way, for his position, he can't afford to go to Oklahoma State. He needs to go to a big-time program.
Is Will Howard going to compete for a national championship?
Yeah, he is. And again, all it is for Will Howard is, hey, go out and do your job. Play good football. Your team will be in the conversation. And again, I think that's another part of the conversation. Dude, if you're not one of those squads that's like, hey, if you play well, you're in, what are you doing? That's why the Baylors of the world are so shocking. That's why, the lower end ACC teams are so shocking that you don't, like, dude, look at Colorado. Look at what Colorado's done here. You're talking about a team who's now won in the tournament, right? You went to a new conference, you're winning in the tournament, and Prime should be better this year. Colorado's on the right track. They understand what they need to be doing.
And again, I just ask, if the Big 12 is this old boy network of these great universities on the field, why is Utah, why is Colorado, like next year when all these basketball programs are in the league, this can be a much better league. This is going to be the best basketball league in the country is going to be a much better league.
Yeah.
I warned you about Colorado.
You did.
Nice
100%.
run to the tournament.
And that was a hell of a game against Marquette.
Look at Arizona basketball. Look at Arizona basketball. Right? I'm telling you, Brett Yormark. And I wouldn't stop looking past UConn either, because I think Brett Yormark is the difference with Brett Yormark is he is playing offense. And I know we say that all the time. And every flipping SEC fan comes into the comments section and gets pissed off that I don't love Greg Sankey, but I would love Greg Sankey to be my commissioner. Well, I don't have a commissioner because I'm a Notre Dame fan. I mean, Jesus Christ is my commissioner.
Right.
Who are we kidding? But if I were affiliated in a conference, would you take any other commissioner besides Greg Sankey? I would not.
No,
I would not. But Brett Yormark has to be in that conversation. Brett Yormark or Tony Petitti? Yeah, I'll take Brett Yormark.
Yeah.
I mean, and go down the list. Phillips or Yormark? I'll take Yormark.
Yeah.
I will take Yormark. Phillips looks awfully weak. Yeah,
I mean, put Yormark in Tony Petitti's shoes and see what it is, because that's the thing that shocks me so much about the Big Ten SEC dominance is that Tony Petitti largely is along for the ride. I mean, this is Greg Sankey's show, and
I would agree with that.
Tony Petitti, credit to him. You got yourself in a position where you're running the most well-paid conference in the country. But I just wonder, hey, if you had Brett Yormark in his chair, dude, I don't even want to know how dominant the Big Ten would be, because at that point, Brett Yormark's got serious power, like financial. You're winning, like you've got everything you need to overtake the SEC, and that's not going to happen under Tony Petitti's watch, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's very interesting, and excuse me for being a rude prick and looking at my phone. I think it's going to be very interesting to see how all of this plays out. And I think that, excuse me, I think that there is no doubt that when you have, and you have the availability, because if you look at the teams that are on the way out of the ACC, I don't think there's any doubt that Brett Yormark is having conversations with all of them. I think if you're just tuning into the show, let me reset the headline for you that Brett Yormark, according to our well-placed sources, is proactively working behind the scenes, reaching out and trying to build networks and connections with Duke, Louisville, and several others that I'm not comfortable naming names at this point. I can only tell you that we've confirmed that Duke and Louisville are at the top of his ACC list of teams. But would it surprise anybody if Brett Yormark has reached out to Bubba Cunningham? Would it surprise anybody if Brett Yormark has back-channeled other athletic directors and presidents in the ACC, which I believe, frankly, in my opinion, he has, because of the things that I've heard from our sources. But Brett Yormark is absolutely doing everything that he can do to have conversations with Duke and Louisville. And from what I understand, that's just the beginning. He is going to target his number ones in that league. And what that tells me is number one, he's done his homework. He has a list of universities that he wants to bring into the Big 12 if it becomes available. Number two, I was told again straight away, he is still very much in favor of adding Gonzaga to the Big 12. UConn is an awkward fit for the Big 12. I continue to hear that UConn is not an easy relational fit with the Big 12, and I agree with that. But I also look at the inroads that the Big 12 is trying to make into the Northeast, and I think that's a situation I would watch. But I would very much be more keeping my eye on universities like Pitt, the Virginias, if we're talking about other universities down the roster. And I also think one of the more interesting universities in this whole play is North Carolina State, because I continue to be told by people that seemingly know North Carolina and North Carolina State are not tied at the hip, and they will act independently. And I think that we saw this exact same thing with Arizona and Arizona State, where everybody said, "Oh, the government, the powers, the legislature, and they did nothing." Because you can't have two independent entities who have already on multiple occasions voted in opposite, directions in this league and trying to break the grant of rights. You can't make a unilateral decision for two completely different situations. So I think, to put a bow around it, I don't think there's any doubt that Brett Yormark is targeting multiple ACC universities, including Duke and Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
I have no doubt about
that. And I love that he's being proactive. I love that he is, in a way, preparing himself and his conference for what's to come in the future. Because, again, the thing that I think gets left behind by most people who talk about this is understanding the relationship the commissioner has to the presidents of the schools in the conference. So if Brett's going to go out and have these conversations and he's going to back channel and he's going to do these things like we're telling you he is, that would inherently mean that the presidents are well aware of it, that the presidents are understanding, hey, this is what we're looking at potentially inside of 5 years. You know, we're looking at the ACC looking completely different or maybe not existing at all. And we need to be prepared for that outcome. And we need to make sure that we have relationships in place. And as your commissioner, I need to make sure that you're good if I go out and try to court Duke and Louisville at this point. And obviously they're going to say, yes, they're good with that. How could you not be? But my point just is that I think people think that these commissioners just go out and do whatever the hell they want to do. I mean, they still got to go out and get president approval from the member institutions. So it's very much a conference-wide decision to do this stuff.
Well, and I would also point out that here we are again in a situation where I think significant realignment is going to happen, and it's going to be forced by the ACC, who I would also remind you is under contract with ESPN, and I can only say it so many times, and you can disagree with me all you like, but I'm telling you, if you believe that the ACC, which has a contract that is fully in control by ESPN has the option. If you truly believe that ESPN is going to allow all of these universities to walk away from their portfolio, you're crazy. Because all ESPN has to do is stroke the pen and pick up the option on the ACC deal, and it's going to make those trying to get out, it's going to make their lives very much more difficult.
Yes.
And the only way that gets resolved is a Duke to the Big 12. So I do not think that it is out of the realm of possibility. Again, I'm not willing to sit here and tell you I think it's likely Duke joins the Big 12. But if you really think ESPN's going to let Duke, Carolina, if you really think they're just going to let Florida State, Miami, who I continue to tell you is a thorn in everybody's side in that conference, if you think they're just going to let the Louisvilles, the Virginias, all of these players in the ACC, if you think they're just going to let them walk away to other conferences, I think you're crazy.
Yeah.
They're going to protect their contracts and their partners. And one of their major partners in college athletics is the Big 12. And I think you are going to see that ESPN is going to broker, that ESPN is going to be a conduit. And the other thing I'd remind you is Brett Yormark has a great relationship with the ivory tower at ESPN. There is no question about that they have a great relationship. All right, enough of us, more of you. As usual, presented by Prize Picks, prizepicks.com. I don't know how I do it. I don't.
Yeah,
but I continue to dominate Prize Picks. I made $270 over the weekend on Prize Picks.
I have a gripe with Kyle Filipowski. How is it that you put up 3 points? Can I just ask that question? How does that happen? Dude?
Because Kyle Filipowski he is not a superstar. He's a guy who can give you production if you need it. But he's not a guy that you build systems around.
Yeah.
He is a complementary player. So when foolish people choose Kyle Filipowski as a building block of their Prize Picks wagers, you're going to get the piano music, man.
Brutal, bro.
And then there are those of us that build our Prize Pick college football or college basketball foundation on big, tall dudes who are only good because they're tall at Purdue.
I'm for real.
When you make that decision, that's when you begin to prosper and you can afford convenience store burritos on a daily basis.
Y'all feel me?
That's what this is about.
Yes.
I won, and I've won 4 straight plays. I'd remind you that I also take very aggressive plays when Caitlin Clark, more or less, half a point. I would remind you that when Chaboy has Dallin Hall for 11 or for 8.5 and he scores 11. RJ Davis, you want to pick Kyle Filipowski? Hell no. You go to Carolina and you pick RJ Davis.
Oh, man.
Kyle Filipowski is Armando Baycott. You can't count on that fat boy, but you can count on RJ Davis. Baycott's not fat. You just pissed me off because I just needed 14 little points and he scored 3 or 4, whatever it was. But to go Justin Steele, Sam Burns, and Zach Edey. I'm just like, this is what I do.
Right.
If you're not playing Prize Picks in the NCAA tournament, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Opening day is Thursday in Major League Baseball. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Prize Picks, this is the best time of year for Prize Picks. We've got NBA. We've got the NCAA tournament, and now we've got Major League Baseball. Download the Prize Picks app right now. Use the promo code Monty, M-O-N-T-Y, to get 100% deposit matching. You put in 5, they'll give you 10. You put in 10, they'll make it 20. Put in 50, they'll make it 100. Put in 100, they'll make it 200. You can play Prize Picks. I've been playing on $20 for about 3 months now. Come on, man. I'm telling you. Get on board.
Yeah.
Let's in our little members only group, we got a bunch of dudes always DMing me when they win, never DMing me when they lose. I don't know anybody who does that.
Wow.
Who only shows up to talk about Prize Picks when they win.
Why don't you fuck off?
I'm here every day.
Yeah, okay.
Because I play every day.
You know.
NCAA tournament. I might be done with golf.
Why are you done with golf, man?
Harmon let me down.
Dude watches 2 episodes of Full Swing and all of a sudden he realizes what it is out there.
What do you mean? I've watched more than 2 episodes of Full Swing. I know Joel Damon needs help.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
I know Joel Damon needs help. All right, let's see. Wow, we have a lot of comments this morning. Thank you guys as always. Download the Prize Picks app. Use promo code Monty. Save 20 or get 100% deposit matching, whatever. Kenneth Maynor, who's been a member for 7 months.
Let me pull it up for you.
Let's go. Tobacco Road Trio alive and well. 919 represent. Exactly right. UW fan Jim, a member for 7 months. The president of the Roman Dunze fan club says, "Happy Monday, boys." No, happy Monday to you, sir. Jim, good to see you. Hello? Okay. I'm trying to get back to, Little Jizzy was first one in today.
Who knew?
Mountain Mama. How's Neil Brown? How's that basketball team doing? Hit the like button, please. Yes. Dakota Tubbs, Jizzy the Hizzy. Mark Hales, good morning. Morning casuals, have a great show. Thank you. Maury Alvarez, our great Floridian. Second like, smash the like button, everyone. Yes, where are we at? Let's see. We are at 750 views and only 39 likes.
Because it's garbage.
Bro.
You guys, come on.
And kick a person when he's down.
Come on. And if you're one of the, what are we at? 400 views on Twitter this morning. Get over to YouTube. Just Google search The Monty Show. M-O-N-T-Y, The Monty Show. Click the subscribe button to subscribe to our channel. Hit the like button. We appreciate that. Oh, look, Eric Wasikowski's in. More wishes for the Big 12 homers. Quite the pathetic weekend for the conference, says a guy who's a Big 10 fan and only supports cheater coaches who say that Free Harbaugh is the best quarterback in the NFL draft. Does anybody buy the bullshit that Jim Harbaugh lays down?
Dude.
Does anybody believe a word that comes out of that cheating liar's mouth?
Well, Wasikowski does.
There you go.
But he's the one.
Yeah, and I won my club championship this weekend. Sure you did.
Yeah, sure you did.
Matt Ritson, good morning to you, my friend. Good to see you. RJ Seaman pick got hosed by Bubba Cunningham, and now the ACC has cause to show collusion. Okay. I can't wait to read.
Wow, that's going to be really...
Infowars.com.
I can't wait to read the court filing. Big East and ACC greater than the Big 12. The Big East is not better than the Big 12 in basketball. They're not. It is what it is. James, Oak State James is here.
Oh, this should be good.
Duke fits the culture of the Big 12. They do. Look at Baylor, TCU, Cincy, and BYU. These are all smaller schools.
Bro,
It just makes sense.
Whoa. I know you did not just say that Duke is a, quote, smaller school.
Who are they? Stanford?
Yeah. Like, what are we talking about, dude?
Come on, man.
Duke is better than all of those schools.
And donuts. San Diego State wants their pro rata. They do. That's a great story. I'm happy for San Diego State in the Mountain West. That's big money. That is big, big money. Mick Stevens, Liberty University's enrollment is 110,000. Well, unfortunately, they're the religious zealots that founded and still influence that institution hurt their brand.
In God's name, image, and likeness.
A lot of it. Baylor, James says Baylor shot too many threes, needed to drive to the basket and draw fouls. I don't disagree with that. Baylor had 0 athletes to take on Clemson. Baylor just look outmatched. That's the truth of it, in my opinion. Zesties, good morning to you. It's the style of basketball that the Big 12 plays that is tough. It's football on a basketball court. They use their shoulders quite a bit.
I would agree with that, yeah.
They use their shoulders quite a bit. Mike Smith says that Baylor has herpes.
Well,
okay.
I mean, dude.
It's possible. Possible.
Okay.
RJC, man, Big 12 is a disaster based on overhype. Look at the matrix. Not one school is as valuable as an ACC top 12 team. Okay. If that helps you sleep. Jeez, Purdue absolutely destroyed Utah State. Oh, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wasn't even close. Wasn't even close. Jake is, look at that, James. Jake is rocking a slick haircut.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. Had to go see my boy.
Your boy noticed that you got your haircut.
Yeah, had to go see Jay Taffa, best barber.
He likes your haircut, Jake.
Yeah, man.
It's fine. RJC, man, Monty is on crack. Duke has 0 business in that poverty ass conference. I know.
Here we go.
I know, right?
Who are you, duck season?
Duke would be a good ad, but Louisville would be better. Oh, yeah. Louisville's a better ad than Duke.
I mean, look, I know it's Monday, but come on, guys. Like, what are we doing?
They have a great facilities. Nobody cares.
Here we go. Monty, I'm on Monty Copter 69. Their facilities are real nice.
Why?
Hi, this is James. Welcome back.
Just say, you guys save the craziness for like Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yay!
Like, just push it deeper into the week.
People will read your positive shit.
They have great facilities. Oh, thank God. Duke is pretty good. Oh, yeah, Duke's just pretty good. Wallace Wade is a decent football stadium. Well, I mean,
Wallace Wade.
Bro, tomorrow, Wednesday. Wednesday. James also says another dig at Gundy, not going to bite. I'll let results on the field this fall speak for. Well, it's not this fall. It's okay. RJC, man, ESPN narrative will cause corrective measures by ESPN to make the ACC whole.
Corrective measures.
Read into this as you will, but 100 billion in endowments have money. Nope. Okay. Don't start, James. Thank you. At least he didn't throw in a concession stand comment.
Yeah.
Is Stanford another team? I don't know what happens with Stanford and Cal. I truly do not understand their plight. I do not. We'll see. Matt Ritson, ACC commissioner, was at Duke's game last night. Well, thank God.
Yeah, you know who was sitting right next to him? Yeah, the president of Clemson.
James, the point that no one is saying is Brett Yormark is proactive. James?
Dude, I believe you quite literally said Yormark was being proactive. Like, I literally think you said that verbatim.
If Carolina says they're out, the ACC will die quickly. I will continue to say. Talk to a guy over the weekend who told me the same exact thing. This conference can stay together if Carolina stays, and Carolina's not going to stay. Patrick Roybal, you're forgetting Arizona. They were bought in solely for their premier basketball program. He's leveraging them to court others. Oh, I don't disagree with that. I think that's very true. Let's see. Eric and Raleigh. The Big 12 and the ACC should merge and focus entirely on basketball. No, they should not. No, they should not.
You can't just
No,
leave
they
football
should.
behind,
We're football.
Yeah, just screw football, dude.
Football.
Yeah,
Football. Neanderthals. Who plays
come on.
football?
We're focused on lacrosse right now.
Whatever. Mike Gundy is 156 and 75. That's 67 and a half. Sounds like a
Guy, you don't understand this, bro. You can't seriously be saying that Mike Gundy's a winner because he's got a winning record. Check the stats on college football playoff appearances. Winning when it actually matters. Yeah, that's where you should be looking. I can win in the regular season. Like, come on, dude.
Scott of Greywater Watch. Deion has to be a Big 12 championship contender in the next 3 years. Yes, he does. And I don't think it's 3 years. I really don't. Caleb, good morning. I mean, Gundy has deserved the digs. He does some questionable things sometimes, like the quarterback rotation last year for the first 3 games. No, he does. But he wins. What did
He's 167 and 0.
67.5% of the time, Mike Gundy wins. He's been to a bowl game. I mean, do you guys remember that Snapple Peach Bowl Filter Cup bowl game? I mean, how could you guys forget the Buc-ee's barbecue sandwich bowl? Brandon Whedon and shit.
Yeah, and they used a Premier bread to make all those sandwiches.
Monty only thinks teams who go to the playoff are elite. If you're consistently winning 8 or 9 games a year, you have a good program.
Bro, dude, you're using 2 different words to make one argument. Good and elite are different. Elite is in the college football playoff every single year. Good is like top 20. It's different.
Was Nick Saban good or elite?
Elite.
Was Urban Meyer good or elite as a college coach?
Yeah.
Was
elite. Yeah.
We can go down the list. Do you want to be Nick Saban or Cheater Harbaugh? Do you want to be Ryan Day or do you want to be Kirby Smart? Why is Ryan Day on the hot seat? Because he doesn't win championships.
Which is why he's recruiting his ass off.
And here's the difference, James, and every other Okie State fan in the world. You're happy going to a bowl game because you get your little road trip and you get to sample concession stands. And that's not how they do things at Ohio State. That's not how they do things at Alabama and Georgia and Texas. The disconnect when you're so brainwashed into thinking that going to Timmy's lawnmower repair bowl, when you're so brainwashed into thinking, well, we've been to a bowl game every year. And yet Alan Bowman is still your but we've been to a bowl game every year. Alan Bowman's your quarterback. Oh, he's excellent. He is? He's excellent. No, he's not. No, he's not. I don't understand the want to go to a bowl game every year.
Yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, I don't want Notre Dame going to a bowl game every year. I want Notre Dame going to the college football playoff every year. And if Notre Dame doesn't go to the college football playoff, it's not good enough. Marcus Freeman is not good enough. You can't have 10 men on the field in a goal line situation. It's not good enough.
Notre Dame, our mother.
You can't. Why did Jim Harbaugh cheat? Because they never beat Ohio State or anybody else of consequence.
It's a wee fence.
And you're like, oh, well, we went to, what did you, 8 or 9, where was your previous, this is ridiculous to me. This is embarrassing. If you're, with all due respect, James, and I appreciate you being here every day, this is an embarrassing comment for Oklahoma State. The fact that you're 18 straight bowl appearances.
I like how you're like, yeah, you guys are good with going on your little road trip and getting your concessions. Like,
nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your little bowl game. Your players don't even play.
You said your players were going to walk out, dude.
Like, it's amazing to me how many fan bases are like, oh, that's so neat. Look at the cheerleaders and the pom-poms. Like 18 straight. This is embarrassing for Oklahoma State. You're just not. You're not even competitive. You're not competing
But
for the top
Monty-
of the college football world.
Monty, we played Texas. They were better, but we still had a good season.
Well, we gave it a valiant effort against Texas, and let me tell you, that Cougar tail I had at the half was amazing. I didn't know there was so much room under the bleachers. But that's what we're talking about. It's not good enough anymore to go to the
Pool and Weed Eater Bowl.
Why is the Rose Bowl only interested in being at 3:00 Eastern on New Year's Day? Because they're worried that they're going to lose prominence as a bowl game. Man, you're either in the college football playoff or you had a mediocre season.
Yeah.
Do you not get that? Like that, it is what it is. Welcome to the nightmare. Bowl game should be should be the minimal of a program. The college football playoff is a goal.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I love the fact that so many Oak State fans are like, Mike Gundy's a legend. If he's a legend for you, you're in trouble.
Oh, you guys all remember Brandon Whedon? He was so good.
You're in trouble.
Dude.
If Mike Gundy is your bar for legend, you're in trouble. If Marcus Freeman's good enough at Notre Dame, we're in trouble. We're in trouble.
Yeah.
They fired Ed Ogeron after he won a national championship. You're in trouble. Baylor, you're embarrassing. Joey McGuire, if he does not go to the college football playoff this year, should probably be on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Come on, man. Come on, be better. Like have higher expectations. This is wrong. This is what's wrong with sports.
Yeah.
We don't win, but we still buy the shirts and we still buy the hats and we still buy the concessions and we
Look at what Ryan Day did to Kyle McCord. Look at that. You're a college football playoff caliber team and he wasn't good enough. And I supported that, but I'm just saying like your bar is too low here, man. Like it's got to be at least, especially in an expanded format. You've got to be in the college football playoff. And if you're not, I don't want to hear from you. Like it just is that simple. You know?
Do you guys understand? You want to talk about it? Lincoln Riley is known for two things. He doesn't have a defense and he doesn't win the biggest game. You want to talk about that guy wins everything except the big game and he's a disappointment.
That's right. Yeah.
Mike Gundy's a legend.
He's got loads of Heisman winners.
Hey man, have you seen Mike Gundy's mullet? He's a legend.
And you know what? You know what the problem is?
Fuck out of here.
I saw what Mike Gundy did at Big 12 Media Days. I saw what you did. You rolled into Jerry World and you wanted to talk to your one guy for an hour and you didn't want to talk to anybody else who was going to ask you legitimate questions. That's the kind of guy Mike Gundy is, dude.
Mike Gundy talked to his dude and that was it.
Literally.
Because he doesn't want to get the problem with guys like Mike Gundy is they don't get held accountable. They don't get held accountable because you have fans on our show saying he's been to 18 straight bowl games, right? 18 straight bowl games. And I want, how do you not want more?
I want it.
Here's Mike Gundy's list of bowl games. The Guaranteed Rate Bowl. The Fiesta Bowl. Okay.
Okay.
The Cheez-It Bowl.
Okay.
The Texas Bowl. The Liberty Bowl, unranked. Camping World Bowl. Alamo Bowl. Sugar Bowl. Okay. 2016. Cactus Bowl. Oh man,
Dude,
fucking
wow,
Cactus.
bro, like
you guys went to the Cactus Bowl?
Bro.
Stay hard.
Did you get
Holy cow.
any cactus thorns caught in the mullet?
Dude.
That must have been painful. The Heart of Dallas Bowl.
Who are you, SMU?
The Cotton Bowl. Okay. The Cotton Bowl. All right, I like it. The Fiesta Bowl in 2011, the year where you were legit.
Yeah.
The Alamo Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, you finished unranked, the Holiday Bowl, the Insight Bowl, the Independence Bowl.
Man, Monty, this is the best head coach we've ever seen.
Oh, look, James gives us $10. Bowl streaks, Georgia. Oh, okay. So you're really Jesus Christ. Like,
dude, James, I love you, bro.
seek counseling.
Dude.
Like, you're really comparing your 18 bowls to okay.
Now you got to go in, dude.
Jesus Christ.
You gotta
Like,
go in. You're giving my guy over here no choice but to go scorched earth on you right here, James.
you just compared yourself to Georgia's bull run. You just compared yourself to Georgia's, but since 2001, right? Like, are we? No, I'm not doing it, dude. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing. You're not even on the same. Don't put yourself in the same fucking conversation as Georgia. Or you really think that this list is like, yeah, oh man, look where Oak State is. Who cares? How was that hard a Texas Bowl? Fuck that. What do I do with this? I'm being serious.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
What do I even say to this shit? You I swear to God, if your pants are down right now, James, I swear to God. Bro,
Dude.
nobody cares how many bowl games you've been to. It's which bowl games have you been to?
I know redos.
Here, let me remind you of Georgia. And let's just call it modern era. How about the Orange Bowl, the Peach Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Peach Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, the Rose Bowl?
Oh, okay. But wait, where's the Texas Bowl?
Where's your citrus? Where's your bowl? Where national championships? 3 of them. Where?
Yeah, I'm not talking about that.
You think those are equatable to the mullet? You think that's even? Do I have to even go to Alabama? Do I have to even fucking go to Alabama? James, I'll pull off this belt and do it.
Nick Saban is a better man than you are.
That's amazing. That's one of the worst. That might be the all-time worst take ever on this show.
That is a goated worst take ever.
This might be the worst $10 ever. Can I refund you? I feel bad taking your money. Are you kidding me?
It really hit me.
Stop. Monty woke up this morning and chose James. Yes, I did. God almighty.
But seriously, you don't give him much option. You don't really give him anywhere to go. I mean, come on.
Monty's bowl streak includes the toilet bowl every morning. Take a shot of Prozac, Monty. Says Eric Wasikowski. No. It's
hey, how is it that how did your boy do over the weekend with the lift and replace rules that were not in effect that he was using and uses every time he golfs? How'd that work out for him?
Mike Smith, James spending money to trigger Monty without meaning to. It's his superpower. That's one of the dumbest $10 spends I've ever seen on this show.
Bro, again, I love you. It's not personal, but
yeah,
my God,
but you guys are in a relationship. I'm not. I don't have to say.
Hey, look here, man.
Like, Mike, and you.
I can't believe you just said that Oak State's bowl streak is akin to Georgia's bowl streak. Dude, like what?
Wow.
Because it's garbage.
Dev MCC, does Mike Gundy and Oak State James compete to be more embarrassing to us normal Oak State fans? I believe they do. I believe they do. Big Daddy Magic is here.
Oh boy, here we go.
Hey, playa, I have high expectations. I'm a Victor fan.
Victor's the way.
The future is so bright you have to wear shades. Victor comes to 1:15 a.m. and I will be there to welcome him. I don't know his coming schedule, but hey, if that's your thing, James, or Big Daddy Magic.
Macaque.
James is the troll we should all strive to be.
I agree.
Jeremiah Champion, quality versus quantity. Yes. Thank you. Jake declares his love for James again. Mark that as exhibition B, Your Honor. The love, the I love you phone call was exhibit A.
I cannot believe that James legitimately thinks that. I mean, James, I'm going to need you to confirm.
That's not. He doesn't.
You
think
must
that.
be trolling.
He doesn't.
You must be, dude. Come on.
All I can think, honest to God, I have to think that James has a Mike Gundy poster pinned to the ceiling above his bed. That's all I can think.
It has to be.
Like, he doesn't do mirrors. Daddy? He does posters of Mike Gundy. And I look at whatever it takes to light your fire, James. But do not compare Oak State to Georgia or Alabama, ever. Ever. Even if there's a fire. Ever. Tommy Fisher. You guys seem worship Utah.
Okay. So
who hasn't won much either in games that matter? Who's worshiping Utah? Like, did you guys, what did you drink this weekend? Like, has the moonshine just like dulled your brains?
That's an issue.
Who's worshiping Utah?
It's widely regarded that Utah is the best team in the conference.
And did I not just say they haven't had a premier quarterback since Alex Smith?
And they don't win their bowl games. They go to big bowl games. They don't win them.
What? Okay. Go to your room and think about what you just said. Exactly. You go to your room. Mike
Crying
Smith,
like a little girl.
The poster's in the bathroom. That is where I hang my poster of Neil Brown. Target practice on Neil Brown.
I'm so bricked up.
Oh my God. Boss Frog. James, you're wrong. Gundy has been given hundreds of millions to bring home more than just a 2011 Big 12 championship. If wasn't for Holder, Gundy contract would not have been renewed back in 17. Goodbye.
Damn.
Bye-bye. In and out. It is Mike. Yeah. Georgia is elite. Oak State is not. But I mean, the bowl streak. What do you mean? What? What? They went to the Moons Over Miami Bowl. What? This is blasphemy. Mike Smith says, good morning, Boss Frog. Good morning. Good to see Boss Frog in here. Man, it's already
so lit.
20 past. The
I'm
Monty
giving
Show,
you a fucking answer.
as always, is presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com. And again, I say, this was Dog Bite Weekend. And I want to, 3 different people asked me about The Advocates and Dog Bites. And the one, dude, so this cat is just, this dude is just walking his dog. And out of nowhere comes this, but he called it a mastiff, obviously. He says this mastiff came out of nowhere and attacked his poodle. And he's like, do you think I have a case? I'm like, if you're asking the question, do you have a case? Don't ask me, ask the advocates.
Yeah, ask the professionals. And
that's the truth. You can get online, chat with an attorney live for free at theadvocates.com. And you don't pay a dime to talk to one of the best injury attorneys in the business. Theadvocates.com. Car accidents, dog bites, dog attacks, slips and falls, trucks on the road. Yesterday, I'm driving to the range. There is a dude who had a UTV.
I'm sorry, a what? A UTV?
Like a side-by-side.
Oh, a side-by-side. Yeah. I've never heard it called a UTV, seriously. I've heard of an ATV.
God. Did you and James conspire before the show to just break balls? Were you like, hey, look, dude.
Hey, Monty.
Fat ass got a lot of sleep this weekend. You better bring your best troll.
If you guys ever want to kick it, we'll flow.
So UTV.
Anyway, my point is, so I was driving to the range yesterday.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And there's a freeway here in Utah, the 15 freeway. which I finally figured out how to work the infotainment system. And backed up because this idiot in a UTV rolled his rinky-dink ass trailer that he was pulling that UTV on. And I believe he was pulling it with a tremor. And he rolled it and it landed on top of a Toyota Prius.
Damn.
Probably should call the advocates, right? You should probably call the advocates. If you have a UTV roll on top of you, you should probably call the advocates. That's what I'm saying. Advocates.com. Chat with an attorney live online. You know, you never pay the advocates unless and until they win your case. A couple more comments on this. So, Delaric, according to James, Minnesota, who has a current longest winning bull streak, 7, is legendary. PJ Fleck, greatest coach we've ever seen.
That's bullshit.
Ever seen. No, it's not. Ever seen. Hurt by a bad take, call the advocates. Exactly right. Alexander Smitley, hello. Will Howard lost his job to Avery. He did not.
Yeah, he didn't lose his job to Avery Johnson, bro.
No, he didn't. James, ask any fan base who didn't play in a bowl last December or January. Here's the thing. If you're just happy going to a bowl, it tells me all I need to know. I don't care that Notre Dame makes bowl games. Notre Dame either played for and won a national championship or they didn't. Manti Te'o's dead girlfriend? Yeah, we didn't. We got rolled by Alabama. Plain and simple. Are you telling me that Florida State, who sued the college football playoff, yeah, their fan base was thrilled. They went to a bowl. I mean, guys, they went to a. You think Iowa? How about Iowa? There's got to be an idiot wandering around on this show right now, right? You're telling me you think Iowa was happy with their performance last year? The Big 12 championship game where I don't believe they fielded an offensive team.
Well, you know, Notre Dame, Brian Kelly, he was the best head coach you guys ever had, right? I mean, you guys went to a lot of bowl games under Brian Kelly.
Why did he? Oh, that's right. They pretty much took another job or he would have lost his job. But it's fine. Brees Lightning. Oak State beat Notre Dame in 2021. Battle of the fake elites. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, what's the difference between the two, though? Being serious. I'm not even trolling you. The difference is Notre Dame has a seat at the table and Oak State doesn't.
And a guaranteed paycheck.
Yeah. So,
James, what I want this year now that the playoff has been expanded, because you didn't want this before, but now, is for Oak State to get into the playoff. Yes, my expectations are higher now. Yeah, because if we can just be like a top 500 team.
Stay hard.
My guess is you're the guy that makes the argument. Well, there's some
Monty.
There's 200 D1. Like, who cares? Why wasn't your expectation the college football playoff the last 5 years, the BCS the last 10 years, whatever the timeline? Why wasn't your expectation the college football playoff before that? That's what I'm saying. John DeLon, most fans wish their teams would go to a bowl game mostly for an extra practice time, not the bowl itself, which is exactly what did we say in December?
Yeah, that's what we said, yeah.
What have we talked to Jake Retzloff about? You got to get early enrollees.
Yeah.
So that those enrollees, why are kids, did you see all the early graduates that went to Georgia? Did you think they graduated high school early so they could get the chicks? Well, that too, but they went so they could get the extra practices leading up to the bowl games because you get so many more practices that prepares you for spring, which gets you ready as a freshman to play in the fall.
Yeah.
That's how elite programs are built. West Virginia Walrus, non-championship related bowl games are basically an exhibition. They're meaningless.
Yeah. That's a Tulane SC game.
Yeah. Meaningless. James, stop. You're letting him roast us even more. Big Blue Horses. Gator fandom is having an identity crisis right now. Half say bowl game is fine. Half say only college football playoff matters. Even past coaches are saying 8 to 10 wins is fine. No, damn it. College football playoff titles or bust. That's where I'm at.
Well, and the true crime of that is that the Swamp is an iconic venue. It is an iconic home field advantage.
Yes.
And obviously, you saw that to its fullest extent under Urban. And a little bit after that, but Florida I'm not even a Florida fan, and I would love to see Florida be good again. It's good for college football when Florida's good.
Mike Smith is very pragmatic this morning. Thankfully, somebody is. Georgia players joined early to get that SRT time.
First team all SRT.
Chad Carter, do we know where Oak State James is today? Can someone call the authorities and do a wellness check? Listen,
Monty.
Listen, before last year, I didn't give a shit about the playoffs, but now there's 12 slots. Hell yeah, let's do it. T-Boone. What? James, I just admitted that part of what Monty said is true. You should want your team in the playoff. Bowl game is the minimum standard.
But
no,
James,
it's not.
Dude,
no, it's not.
Bro, no, it's not. And again, I don't dislike you, bro, but you say dumb things in the comments section. You're gonna get held accountable for it. And that bowl comment, dude, I'm sorry, but you can't say something like that, bro.
Bowl game is not the minimum standard. Dude, everybody gets into the college football playoff now. College football playoff is the minimum standard.
Like, you can't say that the bowl streak is akin to Georgia's or Alabama. Like, come on, dude.
Florida hasn't been good since Urban left. I would agree with that.
But again, when they are good, I think it's better for college football. They're one of those schools.
Yep. Tanner Plummer. Good morning, Tanner. I'll say this. Does Tanner choose violence today or not? I haven't read this comment
I'm
yet.
saying he's choosing violence, but let's see.
The BYU media and BYU fan base do have a similar mindset that what James has. If BYU makes a bowl game, they act like they made the New Year's Six. Okay, well, that's true. You didn't choose violence. I'm proud of you today, Tanner. I'm proud of you. Dakota Tubbs. Florida can continue to stay 6 feet under in their watery tomb in the Everglades. No complaints from me. Wow. Okay. I'm just here for the LOLs at this point.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Speaking of which, did you guys see that Giselle Bundchen blamed Tom Brady again?
Yeah, this is upsetting to me.
Did you guys see this? Giselle's Bundchen. Where is it? Here it is. Giselle's Bundchen. This is something that happens to a lot of women who get blamed.
God bless your Okie State supporting soul.
Allergic to the bullshit. This is something that happens to a lot of women who get blamed when they have the courage to leave an unhealthy relationship and are labeled as being unfaithful. Giselle's Bundchen said in the interview, they have to deal with their communities. They have to deal with their families. Of course, for me, it's which she followed up with. In March 2024, she confirmed for herself that she and Valente are together. In an interview with the New York Times, Giselle's Bundchen said, "This is the first time I'm seeing someone that was a friend of mine first."
Oh.
It's very different. It's very honest, and it's very transparent.
Gotcha.
What's transparent is he was putting you in a rear naked choke before you were divorced.
Yeah,
in
what's
my
apparent
opinion.
is you were doing down dog with regularity.
In our opinion. We don't know that to be fact. It is our opinion, my opinion, that Giselle's Bundchen was freely procreatorially relating in other atmospheres.
Anytime, and again, let me say it 55 freaking times. In my opinion, anytime someone says this is the first time I did something, that's total crap.
It's not usually.
It's not ever the first time you did it.
The problem here is, why say this? Why choose victimhood? I agree that women almost overwhelmingly take a disproportionate amount of blame for a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I do not believe that women get a bad rap in infidelity. I think it's almost overwhelming. Wally must have cheated on her. Overwhelmingly. The problem is when you start looking at pictures of Giselle's Bundchen walking around with her friend.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
Well,
I don't buy it. I don't believe her.
What bothers me is the timeline. So when this initially came out last year, when the situation with their divorce was happening in real time, I always wondered, like, because imagine the day to day, right? Tom Brady obviously is married to football, super committed to football. We all know that. It's what makes him great, but it also means that there's a price to pay in your family life. Okay, cool, understood. I got that part. But what I didn't get is why she handled it the way she did. So I didn't understand why the ultimatum? Why put Tom in that position? Why not instead say, okay, let's have some perspective here.
Mm-hmm.
Life is really good right now. Tom's got, at that point, 2 seasons left, maybe. And you can't tell me he's not telling her that. You can't tell me he hasn't said, yeah, I need to win one. And let's just say he said something to the effect of, I need to win one with a different team just to put the Belichick stuff to bed. Okay, cool. And that's probably going to take me 2 years. But what if you don't win? Well, we'll just see how it goes. I mean, it's year to year. I got to listen
see how it goes.
Right? I'm guessing she didn't like that. That's my opinion. She didn't like that. So then, what ends up happening? Tom's out on the road doing his thing, and she's living her life, and they grew apart. And suddenly, yoga trainer guy, jiu-jitsu guy,
this is him on the screen, by the way,
becomes her best friend, becomes her
muse.
So I just don't buy it out of Gisele. I'm not saying that Giselle's a bad person. I'm not saying that she's some terrible human being. But one of my biggest pet peeves is just dancing around what you did. You should just say, hey, you know what? It didn't work out. I met someone, and here we are.
Or stop talking about Tom Brady.
Or you can stop talking. Yeah.
Why? When these photos are out there of you and your black belt, I don't know why. Why talk about it?
Yeah.
Why do interviews? Right? You had, by a lot of people's account, the American dream. And it all went sideways.
And that's what's hard for me to understand with folks at this level. Like, I can understand completely, like, why Tom continued to play and why he decided to pay the price of his marriage. I get it, dude. You didn't come this far to come this far, right? Okay. At least for that, I understand it. I don't love it. I definitely don't love it, but I understand it. With Gisele, the only thing I don't understand is why not just wait? Just wait 2 years till his career's over with. Then handle it. Then it's simply, hey, I'd like a divorce. I'm good. Like, I just want to move on. Okay, great.
We're at the end of it.
Like, we see that every day in this country. That's why divorce rates are so high nowadays. We see it every day.
And I would remind you that these two, Gisele and her new guy, he's been her jiu-jitsu teacher for years. And they have engaged in all kinds of jiu-jitsu, in stuff.
And then we're going to sit here and blame Tom for going out and getting other supermodels.
I think it's ridiculous. I truly think this is what's wrong in the world,
and it doesn't need to turn into a thing in the comments section where Giselle's a bad person, because she's not. She's not a bad person. But I think she wants to have it both ways. She wants to say, hey, you chose football over me. That makes it okay for me to go and do this. And that's not true. It's not okay to go out and cheat on your husband or your wife. That's not okay.
Yeah, and it is a day of celebration for little Jizzy, because this is how he got his name. Jizzy Bunchton. I love it. RJC man, Brady was a Trumper. Who cares? Why? Boyd Lake, Gisele complained about Tommy. I'm shocked. Shocked, I say. Is this guilt coming out in this interview? I don't know. I think there's a lot of people who don't understand the hypocrisy of being famous.
Mm-hmm.
And I think whether it is Gisele Bunchton, this Kate Middleton story over the weekend, we finally got resolution on that, unfortunately. Did you guys see this? Princess Kate has cancer. And everybody's like, oh, he cheated on her and she's in hiding. She has cancer. How do we know she had cancer? Because she finally put out a video that's legit of her saying, hey, I have cancer. It's like, being famous is not easy. Being famous there's a lot of expectations that come with it. And it's stuff like this, just Jizzy and Tommy.
Yeah.
Team Jizzy all day. Tom hurt my Kansas City Chiefs and Alex Smith too many times. OG Gary, Gisele playing the victim. Classic. That's my point. You're not a victim. You made choices.
Yes.
Now you're getting held accountable for that.
And I would just rather her say, you know what? Yeah, I did. It didn't work out with me and Tom. We decided to go our separate ways. Like, if that was the narrative, if she had come out and she said, hey, yeah, me and Tom had a conversation, and yes, technically we were still married, but at that point we had decided we were done. We were going our separate ways and we just hadn't done the paperwork yet. Okay, that's a different situation. And maybe that did take place, but that's not what she's saying. And unfortunately, in our world, all I can go on is what you're saying.
That's right.
And so you put the media in a position where it's like, hey, yeah, like, by the way, this, now we know started. What did it say in the summer of 2023, I believe it was? So that was well before. Like, that was, Tom still had a full season left at that point. And that's what bothers me, is that this guy's going out here to solidify his legacy and to be the absolute best he can be in what he does. And for 99.9% of people, they would, their spouse would support them to the end of the earth for doing that. If the story read, hey, husband and father of 5, went out and ran a marathon, we wouldn't even be having this type of conversation. But because it's Tom Brady and because it's Giselle and they're ultra rich and they have all these resources and could do basically whatever the hell they want.
Yep.
This is what happens. And it's a shame because they were a great couple. They were a power couple, man. Like,
and I'd point out they have kids together.
Yeah.
Right. By the way, here's Jizzy on the mat.
Yeah.
Like, it's an intimate sport. If you're a man and a woman practicing jiu-jitsu, it's an intimate sport. And is it any stretch that you wind up in walks like this? Oh, but we were just walking down the street with our dog.
Yeah, I will never buy that.
I don't. I think it's unfortunate.
And she deserves credit too, by the way, for being the woman that she is. Like, you don't just accidentally become one of the best supermodels we've ever seen. You don't just accidentally have the career she's had. I mean, she deserves a lot of credit as well. And she paid a heavy price from a career standpoint because of what Tom was doing.
Women are held to a much higher standard.
Yeah.
There is no question about that when it comes to body, when it comes to, I still don't understand why men comment on women's bodies. I still don't understand why men comment on my body. I don't get it. Like, the next time a dude walks up to me, I'm like, hey, you're way thinner in person. Thanks. But it's that's who we are.
Yeah.
As people.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that women are held to an unfair standard in marriages. I think when you're famous, you're always going to be held to a different standard.
Yeah.
You just are. And when you do interviews talking about your marriage, you open yourself up for this.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. There's no doubt about it. And I think you make a great point. I mean, you can't tell me that she just was like, oh yeah, I woke up today on Tuesday. It sounds like I should sit down with the New York Times.
Yeah.
Nobody does that, dude. She's clearly got a motive.
Yeah, it is what it is. Big Daddy Magic.
Oh, here we go.
Because Big Daddy Magic, he's got the hose. He knows how to manipulate.
Right.
Stories like this make me so happy, and thank you, Jesus. Victor did not get drafted to LA. Could you imagine all the movie stars talking about taking a ride on Victor's Express?
The cock.
Okay. Delay. Man, Big Daddy Magic, you're a star.
Let's ride.
She's not a villain, but she's not a victim either. No, she's
Agreed.
not. Victim villain? Yeah, I don't think she, it is what it is. Yeah, RJC, man, I'm not going to read your comments. Like, that's just not what this show's about. It's not what this show's about. This show is about dudes spending lots of money on bags, though. Did you guys hear about this? Look at my guy Pharrell, man. First of all, you're a fashion icon, and this is what you're wearing, man. Okay. I hate the glasses. I love the bag, though. How much do you guys think this bag is?
Well, it looks like a nice bag.
It's a Vuitton. It's a legit Louis Vuitton.
I can get that bag and hop in the portal. So, give it $5-6 grand,
Here's Lil Uzi with the bag.
Yeah, a little Uzi. Okay.
Here's the bag in question.
Yeah, that's
how much you guys think this bag is? It's their hottest duffel at Louis Vuitton. It is unavailable. You cannot get it. It is so incredibly difficult to get your hands on. Unless you're LeBron James.
LeCap.
Unless you're LeCap. Or you wear glasses like this. I think he is their director of fashion or design at Louis Vuitton. Pharrell. Or Lil Uzi. And these are real pearls on his jacket, by the way, in case you guys are curious.
Okay.
Would it surprise you? What's that?
Well, I was going to say, before we tell the number, how much would you be willing to spend on a premium bag like a Louis Vuitton? Because I struggle to even pay like $2,000 or $3,000 for a bag like this. Like, I can appreciate good luggage, good travel bag stuff.
Delon. That bag is uglier than an Oklahoma State bowl streak. Let's see. I'll tell you how much it is in a minute. Dakota Tubbs, I'm liking it. I love the bag. I would absolutely.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Dude, I would own this bag, Hundo P. I love that bag.
Dude. Well, when we were in Vegas, a couple months ago now, they had a red one that was just sensational.
And I have a really nice duffel bag, but it was $300.
Yeah.
It was not. Let me get some guesses first. No, you wouldn't pay $100, I assume. Brandon Butler, 10,000, more than that. OG Gary, 6,700, way more than that. Louis Capazzo, 12K, close, $11,100.
Why?
This duffel right here is $11,000.
I'm trying to understand what
$100.
You're not paying for the duffel. You understand that, right?
$11,000.
You're
on a duffel bag.
Monty, you're talking about spending more on a Louis Vuitton bag than Oak State makes on its bowl game, okay?
You know. $11,000.
I couldn't do it. Honestly, I couldn't do it.
The most you would pay for a duffel, how much?
$3,000-4,000.
$3,000 or $4,000.
Yeah, that'd be the most I'd spend, man. If it was like a really nice duffel bag, yeah, I'd consider it.
I have a really nice duffel bag, and it was $3,000. Oof, that'd be tough. It's $11,100.
It's too much, bro.
Kim Coulter, the bag is $3,200. I wish it was
the big.
Calford says $11,100. I wouldn't pay for that, but I am a dude who hangs on to 20-year-old cars. Brandon Butler. I won't buy Louis Vuitton. I have trouble buying it. Mike Smith, backpack or gym bag, no purses, sir.
It's a satchel.
Yeah.
Come on.
Warren, look at LeCap. He wears it crossbody.
Yeah, dude. Look at that large satchel.
I mean, but you have Pharrell carrying it like it's a bag. You know, I like the bag a lot. I'm not paying a lot.
It's too much.
Yeah. That's crazy. What are you willing to spend a lot of money on? Because here's the discussion we're having at the crib lately.
Yeah.
That means my house.
Right.
Here's the discussion we're having at the crib. I want to put a golf thing in my backyard.
Right.
I want to have like a chipping and putting area in my backyard. Because I'm really now trying to this year, I'm trying to get my handicap down to 5. It's probably not going to happen. You know, this guy wants 10 grand to rip out everything in my backyard and lay turf and build a putting green in an area for chipping and stuff. And then Mrs. Monty to have her garden and her stuff on one end. The dog would have some turf, and then I'd have a pitching and putting area. Or I could do new countertops and paint my entire house. Which one's more important?
The interior or the exterior?
Interior.
I
have an HOA. I can't fart on the outside of my house.
I will say, you know, with your configuration in the kitchen, there's a lot of natural light that comes into your kitchen. So I do think doing counters and maybe painting the cabinets and just kind of refreshing the kitchen could be a really positive thing. You obviously use your kitchen every day. You know, that it's really more of a return on investment from an enjoyment standpoint conversation. You're going to use your kitchen no matter what the weather is outside. At the same time, though, I do think that, you know, you've talked about wanting that in the backyard for a while. You know, I mean, that's definitely been something that you've wanted. And I do think that from a maintenance standpoint, obviously, it'll be much easier to maintain the backyard with all that stuff removed. So, you know, I think I'd keep there's a big tree in the backyard. I'd keep the big tree. But yeah, I mean, the bushes and stuff. Yeah, I mean, it probably, you know, I think it would aesthetically look better. So I don't know. I think that's the hard part. The kitchen works great just as it is. You have really nice appliances. The countertops, totally understand why you want different countertops. I get it. But, you've got a nice dishwasher, a nice
Yeah,
sprayer,
I have
like,
appliances, and I have
you've
an
got nice stuff.
what I need is I need counters, and I really want to build like some banquettes. Like I want to have like a smaller table in my kitchen, and I want to have benches so that I can sit, eat my breakfast or dinner,
So you
and
can
look out the
utilize
window.
the wall space a little more.
Yes.
Yeah.
And have better storage. And
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's hard. I think the reality is you want both.
I could probably do both. But I don't know.
I guess the question you have to ask yourself is, when it's 4:00 in the middle of summer and it's like 95 out, are you going to be in the backyard using that?
Probably after dark, I would be.
Yeah.
I probably would be. And my wife really likes, we have a really nice Traeger smoker, and patio furniture is an absolute heist. It's a ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to wind up paying for patio furniture, which is
also
thousands.
I also think an important factor too, though, is the job situation, or like the day-to-day for a lot of people. Like a lot of people, like especially in the work from home era that we're in, a lot of people don't really leave the house. Like when you work from home, or you have a situation where you're doing your thing, like you're inside all day and you don't leave your house. So maybe it is important to prioritize the backyard, so you get outside more. I mean, that's also, I think, a consideration.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I think that's a difficult conundrum. I really do think it comes down to, how much do you think you'll use the backyard? That is what you have to ask yourself. Because you have a hot tub. You use the hot tub all the time.
Not as much as I'd like. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm not looking at selling my house anytime soon. So I don't think that's an issue for me, but we'll see. Mike Smith, yeah, the overpriced patio furniture that you use only a few times a year. Good, yes, dear.
See, and that's what I'm saying. How often are you gonna be outside?
I think a lot. If we had golf in the backyard, and we had, like, we're looking at this patio furniture that's got a fire pit in the middle, a fire table.
Yeah.
It's nice, comfortable, round, like it's on a half round. Like it's actually really nice. I don't know. I hate my kitchen. I hate the counters. My kitchen table is a gathering spot. Like right now, it's got a ceiling fan, and we're putting in all new doorknobs in our house. So I've got a bunch of doorknobs up there. And,
yeah.
It just is a gathering. I don't know, man. I don't know what to do with it.
You really have to. I think it's a difficult conversation, because you have to really work through, like, what is more important. And the reality is that's impossible to answer, because they're both important to you. And I agree. It sucks when your kitchen table is just a gathering spot. And, how much more would you use your kitchen table if you enjoyed the comfort of the seating more? How much, like, you can go round and round with it. The reality is, the pain in the ass that it would be to have someone do countertops and do your kitchen is also a factor. You're talking about your house being ripped up for 3-4 days at least.
Yeah.
And,
at least.
At least. And that'd be on the quicker side. Like, if you're redoing your backyard, that's fine. That doesn't really impact your quality of life at all. Like,
it doesn't matter that much.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's almost a thing where you kind of, like, you need to be here when someone's renovating your kitchen, but you almost don't want to be, because it's such a pain.
Ochi Gary, countertops and paint would be a no-brainer, and then get a simulator in the basement. Yeah. Yeah, I'd love a simulator. I would go internal. Whoa, easy.
Dude, this is a family program, bro.
Jeez. I would go internal unless it's your forever home. Unless you have a golfer or a fan who wants to buy your house down the road. I think if you had turf in your backyard and a chipping green, I think it adds to a chipping putting green. I think it adds to your value.
It's internal.
Because our backyard's pretty good already. We have a big strip of grass. We have a hot tub. We have a full Trex deck that Teddy Wayman and Wayman Brothers built.
Well, and the paver job.
We have a bunch of pavers back there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think our backyard, I think the turf and the patio furniture would be a nice finisher for that. But the turf estimates are ridiculous. So expensive. It really is. UW fan Jim, get a retractable awning. It makes summer grilling nice. I love retractable awnings. 95 degrees outside. I'd jump on that during the summer. Anything over that is just yuck. Yeah, and you live in southern Utah where it gets hot. If you spend a good deal outside, it's a good investment. If not, just waste of money. We do spend time outside.
Well, and the question really is, how much more time would you be out there if you had what you wanted? That's what I think is kind of the conversation.
More, certainly more.
Yeah,
certainly more. So we'll see. I don't know. It is. It is what it is. The table fire pit got us outside a lot more. Derek, I think it would be great. I agree with you on that. We sit outside every night in our outdoor kitchen. Has gas grill, fridge, granite countertops, rock and roll shield, Rolla shields to block wind, and 270-inch TVs for sports. That's amazing. It's amazing. Dakota says, as your resident Monty Show architect. Ooh.
Okay.
Would be happy to give you a free consult, but hey, if you hate your kitchen, then that should be your first project. I think I don't hate my kitchen, I hate my counters. There's so much I want to do inside my house. I want to paint. I want to put new floors. I want to redo my countertops. I have really nice countertops in my bathrooms. I have Oceana quartz in my bathrooms, and I want like a white quartz with brown veining, some brown tones in it, because I have like country cabinets.
Yeah.
So
what color do you think you do the cabinets?
I wouldn't. I don't think I'd change the cabinets.
Huh?
I think I would put in a deeper tone floor and leave the cabinets the way they are, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kim Coulter, take care of the inside, then blow your dough on the outside. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man. I like peeing on the back porch. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. John DeLon, the golf course stuff does add value to your home. However, it's highly unlikely you ever get what you paid for it. Yeah, I don't care about that. I'm not doing it to raise my retail value or my resale value. That's for sure. I'm just not.
Yeah.
It is what it is. By the way, one other sports story that you should keep your eye on today. Shohei Ohtani is going to talk to the media. He is embroiled in a massive gambling scandal. One of the things I find interesting about Shohei is he speaks fluent English. Why does he have a translator? I don't know either. Will he use a translator today? I would guess so. This is a big deal, this statement he's going to make. And why has Shohei Ohtani not been suspended yet? It's a big, it doesn't matter.
Dude, the only reason he's not suspended, there's two reasons. He's either got an overwhelming amount of evidence that he had nothing to do with the gambling portion.
Well,
in which case I agree with you. You still wired that money. You still got to pay a price. I agree. At the same time, it could also be a marketability thing, as we talked about. He is the face of baseball right now. So I think that you're right. This statement will go a long way to deciding if there's a price, and if there is, what that price is going to be, and what it looks like. The good news for the Dodgers is we're at the very beginning of the season. So even if he got some ridiculous suspension, they'd still be fine.
Yeah.
So for the Dodgers, I don't think this is really big stress.
Something to keep an eye on for sure. The Monty Show, as always, presented by our friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. Dog bites, car accidents, slip and falls, any injury. Not your fault. Get to theadvocates.com. Do you need an attorney? If you're asking that question, advocates.com. Don't wonder. Find out. Because when you go to the Advocates, you have nothing to lose. If you don't have a case or you don't need an attorney, they're going to straight up tell you, hey, you're doing fine. But trust me when I say, when you need an attorney, there's no better than the Advocates. They've got the experience and the know-how to get you the best end result. And you never reach into your pocket to pay the Advocates, because you don't pay them less than until they win your case at theadvocates.com. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.